All right, this one's going to be interesting. This is actually one of my good buddies, fellow YouTuber friends, and the original person that wanted to come up with the concept of all of us kind of Aftershock guys coming together to make some Diablo Immortal content together. Chosen has decided to step away from Diablo. Now, I haven't seen this video yet. He kind of talks about what exactly the reason is. I have some idea of what I think is going on. I know the in-game grind is not exactly appealing to a lot of people, etc., but I want to see exactly what his reasons are and kind of react to it as it is. A good buddy of mine, and I've reacted to most of my friends who have since quit the game and left. It is getting to be a little bit of a lonely thing. We'll have a link down below for the people that want to watch his video as well. And let me just faux screen this up here. Let me get myself out of the way so I'm not sitting right over the top of him, and let's go.
This is Chosen, and in this video we are going to talk about, unfortunately, the time has probably come where it's time for me to be real with you and talk about my feelings in Diablo Immortal and why I am probably done covering it seriously and being passionate about bringing you content on the game. Doesn't mean that the channel is going anywhere. I just want to say that right out the gate. I am still very passionate about the Diablo community and Diablo 4 and Diablo 3 and covering the news around Diablo and interacting with our Aftershock team.
Poor Chosen got his name stolen, never got back.
And all of my friends in terms of being active in the Diablo community. But I do want to be honest with you and real with my viewers that the days of me trying hard in Diablo Immortal or grinding it at a high level are probably over with, and I'm going to be moving on to other Diablo projects. So that's what I'm going to talk about.
I mean, to be fair, I think that's what he enjoyed the most was kind of the competition side of it, from what I remember. And the competition side of it, most of us didn't enjoy after doing it for a while. You know, we were the Immortal a couple times, and that was cool and all. But what you have to do to actually like maintain more being the Immortal consistently on the server, it's a lot. And the way I've both been a fan and a detractor from the server Paragon. Like, you know how there's a server Paragon, which means people like me who are behind the server Paragon, we get bonus experience. But it also means like the reason that I'm behind in the first place, which is the fact that I don't feel like it's rewarding to play when you're ahead of it. Like, I'm just going to let myself be behind because there is a reward system. Being ahead, you get punished for it. Kind of makes it where you don't really do much of the in-game grind. And I think that's a lot of the reason, like, when we were competitive for it, we got kind of discouraged by it. And I know it was some of the reasons some of the other Diablo veterans around the area got discouraged from it too, which is that being a super ultra grinder isn't really massively rewarded in the game. So because of that, it's just better just to be casual, which is more or less where most of us ended up being. I mean, even Veldshot's casual now, and he was the one that was grinding more than anyone.
About in this video, we're going to talk about why that's the case. You know, I'm not going to do this video from a hateful, spiteful place. I'm not going to be ranting. You know, I love the Diablo community. I love the Diablo franchise, but I am going to talk about why I've come to this decision and why I'm moving on. I'm going to talk about the good things, the bad things, the future of the Diablo content I'm going to make on this channel, and all of that, just to keep you in the loop of my perspective on that topic. So let's get into it.
All right, let's see what Brad's got to say. Run the logo, Brad.
Alrighty, so yeah, this is gonna be you know, the second time that I'm moving on from a Diablo game and being a content creator, really diving into.
Yeah, for the people that didn't know, he ran one of the best Diablo, or I think he says it was the best Diablo 3 clan for a while there. Anyway, he played the game pretty hard. Like his original channel that on YouTube, the one that covers Raid now, covered Diablo 3 from what I remember.
To going hard in the paint on that game. So on this very channel, years ago, I was a pretty full-time content creator for Diablo 3, doing many videos a week, being in one of the best hardcore clans and pushing for leaderboards and all that type of stuff. And then I eventually had to move on from Diablo 3 to cover other stuff. And then at Diablo Immortal was when I came back to really going hard in the paint on a Diablo game, and thus started uploading to this channel again. And you know, right now I'm probably going to like I'll at least do the next Diablo 3 season. I absolutely love the Diablo 3 seasons. They are just a blast for like 3 or 4 weeks. So much fun developing your account and progressing, starting from scratch and getting like the seasonal journey done, and seeing, you know, in that first month how you compare on the leaderboards to the other people playing your class. I absolutely love.
I play a lot of D3. I used to have a phone call center job, and for a while there I did it from home. And while I I was sitting at home, I'd literally play D3 while like taking the calls.
Of new seasons, so I'll probably do the next Diablo 3 season with a few of my friends, like Veiled Shot and stuff like that. And in terms of like the Aftershock team, we're not going anywhere on Diablo Immortal. We're still gonna have a clan, and we're not abandoning anybody. I'm not telling anybody else to quit the game or anything. We're still gonna be doing all of that kind of behind the scenes stuff and have Diablo Immortal as part of our Discord server and our community and our team and all that. It's just for me personally, I'm not going to really be trying hard or grinding.
Yeah, the whole clan's transitioned, I mean, to completely casual at this point. Like, we don't even mandatory show up for Shadow Wars. Like, half the time, Veiled Shadow, who's the leader's not even there for Shadow Wars anyway. Like, it's no one takes it seriously anymore. We're kind of coasting. I think there is a pretty big hope that D4 is going to be pretty good, and that eventually Immortal gets to a place where like people want to come back and be competitive at it again. I don't think the majority of the people that I know that played the game are going to come back though. Like I don't think Kyra Mobile is going to come back at any point. I really don't think Brad would come back. Most of the people who moved on from the game, I think, are just done with the game
anymore. I'm going to be shifting my focus on this channel to probably Diablo-centric news, whether it's Diablo 2 Remastered, some big patch, or Diablo 4 beta. I'll definitely cover that extensively here on the channel, and I'll definitely go really crazy on Diablo 4. I'll probably play it like 10 hours a day when it comes out and be producing tons of content and all sorts of stuff for the website and stuff that we do. So Diablo 4 will be the next big project, but I'll also probably dive in and play the next Diablo 3 season. I'll cover like what the leaderboards look like, and we'll just do some fun Diablo general content. So definitely no hatred towards anything about Diablo or the Diablo community or anything like that. But then if we talk about, why this decision is happening,
there's the disclaimers out of the way. They're him being like, all right, well, yeah, I don't hate the game, but let me say my I want to hear it, Brad.
I'm choosing to move on from a franchise that I really love, and why it's time for me to kind of bow out from Diablo Immortal. I'll start with the good. We'll talk about the good and the bad, and eventually, the bad outweighed the good, and kind of caused me to come to the very difficult decision to move on. But in terms of the good, I think the game visually and how it functions and all of that, they did very well on. I really like how it looks with that dark medieval aesthetic. It's very clean, and the launch was...
Yeah, there's no doubt. You can't take the polish away from the game, because, I mean, it's probably got the smoothest combat in a mobile game that I've played personally. I mean, I think that's fair. The graphics are some of the best you're going to get in a mobile game too. And you do have to give it the disclaimer of a mobile game, because it is literally like a mobile game. Like, yes, you can play it on PC, but if we're going to compare it against all PC games, like, yes, Star Citizen's going to have better graphics, so I can't really like throw it in that category. But I do think it's fair, like, to say for a mobile game, it has some of the best graphics I've seen. The gameplay is fairly smooth. And, honestly, I just started recently with the free-to-play and stuff, listening to the voice acting again on these quest lines. And the voice acting is really good too. So like the overall like AAA polish in terms of voice acting, gameplay quality, smoothness is there. It's like the bugs and stuff where we really start running into some problem where there's not
mostly
polish.
Good. It wasn't a bug-riddled mess like Diablo 3. It mostly went pretty smooth. For me personally, horrible luck. I mean, everything went wrong that could have went wrong
when we
were trying to dive into our Diablo Immortal project from the start. But for me personally, I literally got...
he got COVID like the day the game launched, and he got real sick.
Very bad symptomatic COVID literally the night before Diablo Immortal launched. Like literally the night before. That
was a real bummer too, dude, because like it was me, Veld, Kyer, and Brad. We're all pretty much like the four that we were going to game together like 24 hours and nonstop. And Veld did the full like 26 hours to hit 60 like the first. And then I was like the third or something to do it, because it took me, forever, and I took a nap in there. Forget what it was. We streamed the whole thing too. It was actually like pretty hype. But poor Brad got sick, dude. He got sick, so he was way behind.
Fever, though, I had to go in and get checked on, make sure everything's gonna be all right. And that was the night before Diablo Immortal launched. So I'm sitting here trying to play Diablo Immortal on launch day with 103 fever and probably the sickest I've ever been in my life, trying to play on launch day of Diablo Immortal, because I don't want to let my warband down and let my friends down and all of that. And then I was sick for probably 3 weeks. And then the first really 3 weeks, all the plans I had with my friends and and you know, playing like crazy and being one of the best in the server and all that. I just
I remember we all felt pretty bad for him because the luck was like absolutely terrible. Like we had been talking and preparing and hyping each other else, like hype beasting each other, like, hey, let's go, it's gonna be fun, you know, because we were all bored. We all wanted a new game to play, you know. I mean, we've been in that boat. I'm sure many times you guys have been in that boat where it's like you've been playing the game for a while and you're like, okay, you know, I'm kind of ready for like a new challenge. And that's where we were all ready for the Diablo Immortal challenge. And then like basically the day before, like Brad just gets the worst COVID.
Physically couldn't do it. Like there was no choice. There was no tough it out. I just physically couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Even I run 2 different YouTube channels and they were both dead for like 3 weeks. I just physically could not get in front of the camera and make a video. I was coughing every 5 seconds. It was just awful. So that was a. I
got kind of lucky because I got COVID. What was it, like 2 or 3 weeks before? Like I got COVID long enough before where there was like no way I was going to have COVID again during the launch. So I got lucky and kind of got it out of the way.
Rough thing, but even I say that, you know, just kind of around the launch, it kind of brought my mind back to that. But in terms of the launch, it was good. Like I don't remember any crazy bugs or anything. You know, tons of crashes.
I thought it was pretty buggy on PC personally. I thought I remember a lot of bugs, and I still remember a lot of bugs. But it's definitely they've been clearing the bugs out as it went. But the bugs weren't like crazy enough that really like super bothered me or anything on launch. I remember it being pretty playable.
Or crazy long queue times to get into the game or anything. So there was definitely some positives. I do think that the like cycle of strife as an overall general theme is a lot of fun. Some of my most fun in Diablo Immortal was meeting up with our team leaders and people in the community and trying to figure out like, you know, who's going to play in this Rite of Exile fight and who's going to be going to this.
That was fun like the first 2 of them, and then it became like not fun remotely.
This clan war and in the early days of Diablo Immortal for the first couple months, a lot of that was really exciting to theory craft and build and try to build an organization and a team. Sure. So there was definitely some things that they got right, and they've also been doing a good job, you know, getting some you know, semi-often updates, introducing new legendaries, and trying their best to listen to some feedback and integrate.
That's all fair feedback. Like they have actually, in my opinion, been doing a pretty good job at adding new legendary items. Like I feel like the rate at which we're getting legendary items is pretty good. It seems like it's every other update, everyone gets 6, which is a fairly healthy amount. Also, the feedback, they are starting to listen to feedback more. If you actually look into the Chinese patch notes, I don't think it made it into the English patch notes, but in the Chinese patch notes, they basically specifically say that what they're trying to do is listen to the player feedback, and that's the point of the patch, which is why there's things like guaranteed set item drops, etc. in it, which is all W's in my opinion.
Some new things. The game is definitely getting better. So some of that would be in the positive side of things. Then for the negative side of things and the reasons that I'm going to be moving on to Diablo in general, and then eventually the Diablo 4 beta and transitioning this channel to Diablo 4. The main one, the main elephant in the room is that I can't grind resonance. That's just the main crux of the issue. That's 95% of it, is that I can't grind resonance. I can't. I like.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong about this. I'm sure this is going to be his main point, and it's kind of the same thing that I've been hearing from the competitive people. Like a lot of my friends are competitive. Like Kyra Mobile's a competitive person. Brad's a competitive person. Chosen here is Brad. He's a competitive person. These types of people want either balanced PvP or a way to be able to grind to get to the pinnacle of strength in PvP. Like if you can't look at someone with 7,000 resonance wings and be like, okay, I can get there in 6 months. Okay, I can get there in a year. Like even in old school RuneScape, which is a game that takes so much time that I've been playing lately, when I look at the game, I understand that there is a path to victory if it's even months ahead. Like I can look and be like, oh, I don't have a 99 in agility or mining or whatever. And some of this reference might go over you guys, but the rest of you guys can just endure it for a second. But I know that it's going to take X amount of hours or whatever, and I can get there. And I can catch up to the other people if I'm willing to put in the hours. But in this game, like it doesn't feel that way remotely. Resonance doesn't feel grindable. Rare crests feel terrible. The pearls, while they were a great addition, are only 2 out of 5 stars guaranteed. And then it takes 80 pearls, or excuse me, what is it, 40 pearls for it, which in my opinion is still too expensive. The amount of duplicates you need, it's not realistic. Like if you hit about 3,000 resonance, you get to a point of such a wall that even if you were putting thousands of dollars in, it would still be slow. I mean, if you think, even if you're putting in thousands of dollars, it would still be slow to get resonance. And I'm ranting enough about this because this is Brad's video. We got to hear him rant about it.
If dungeons would drop like Elder Crests or Gem Powder, or if you could farm it in the open world, if there was a realistic path to grinding up that number, I probably wouldn't be making this video. That would probably solve 95% of my personal beefs with the system. Now, some people are going to disagree. Some people are going to say that it's a silly take, and that's fine. I'm just telling you my perspective as a Diablo player and how I feel about it. You know, for me personally, if I could grind resonance at a more realistic clip than we can, then I would probably still be playing and I would still be excited.
He's not the only one that feels this way. I bet if I scroll down, the comments will basically be saying the same thing as well. Man, it's reason for quitting, cannot grind resonance, no truer words. Yeah, I definitely have seen this mirrored throughout multiple of my personal friends as well as many of the comments, etc. If you can't grind resonance in the game where resonance makes the biggest impact, then it kind of constantly makes you feel bad.
To run the team and play the game a lot and grind up that number. In the terms of having full disclosure, I'll show you. I mean, I did get to 2,000 resonance. I probably spent. Oh, I'm trying to be accurate here. Let me
guess. I think you spent like $1,500 probably.
We spent around 1,000, somewhere in there. I did a pretty good job flipping the market, and I don't know if spending 1,000 for 2,000 resonance is good or not. But that's I spent somewhere around 1,000.
That could be accurate because 2,000 to 3,000 is the major of the expense, and he's running like some of the cheaper. He's running like Swinson's and Berserker's Eye and stuff.
Did my best to, I come from a finance background. I worked in banking before becoming a content creator and all that. So I really enjoy markets and economies and trying to buy low and sell high and monitor the prices. And I nerd out over that kind of stuff. So I really enjoy playing the market and talking about it with my friends and stuff like that. So I got, 2,000 resonance for about 1,000 spent if I had to guess. But anyway, if I had a realistic path, at 2,000, it becomes really, really difficult to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not realistic. Like, if you're trying to go from your tier 1 wings to tier 2 wings, like doing it without money, I don't know if anyone has done it really. And that's why we have these weird conversational points where people are like, hey, can I run multiple Battle.net accounts with 20 plus characters on each Battle.net in order to farm enough platinum? It's like when people are doing that, it's like there's something wrong with the game. If I have to log off my account and log on to another one in order to make enough platinum to be able to grind something which increases base stats, like there's a problem. And because of that, we're losing people like Brad.
Raise it without spending money. It just really like getting up to like 1,000 is pretty realistic. 1,000 to 2,000, it becomes definitely a grind. And then after 2,000, you just really can't do anything without spending. So that was 95% of the turnoff for me personally. And then after that, I would say the other small percentage, like 5 or 10% after the resonance issue, would be like the caps in the game. I'm an old school StarCraft, Diablo PC gamer grinder. I love to play for 12 hours. As long as I'm progressing, as long as I'm being efficient, and I'm playing with my clan and playing with my friends, I can do the same dungeon for 12 hours straight and have fun. I'm a grinder when it comes to these Diablo kind of games, and the fact that there's like the caps of like the XP and the caps on the gems dropping and the caps on the market trades.
What's interesting is I find this to be common, is that people that will be willing to grind 16 hours a day won't play a game that only requires you to grind 4 hours a day if you cannot go up to the 16. It's not about how many hours you're allowed to play. It's about being willing to play more hours than the other person and being rewarded for it. They want, and I also want this in MMOs. I want the ability to be on the game more, be a better expert, know what I'm doing, and spend more time in the game and factually be rewarded for that in a way that is substantial and beyond the monetizational option. And I think that's why games like RuneScape feel very rewarding for me when you get like a 99 cape and stuff like that. It's because it feels substantial and rewarding for spending more hours. And honestly, Diablo Immortal feels exactly the opposite. The more time, and I think that's by design. I think you're only supposed to play 2 to 4 hours a day. And if you spend 10 hours a day on the game, like you're going to feel like an idiot doing it, basically.
A lot of my fun is flipping the market and participating in the economy, and you're capped on how many trades you can have. You're capped on all these weighted, these time gates and the crazy taxes, and it just really puts a damper on how much fun I'm able to have in the market and how much fun I'm able to have grinding the game at the kind of high level that I want to be grinding it at. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it, and I had fun, no regrets, like I'm glad I played Diablo Immortal and all that. I'm excited for the future of the Diablo community. I think having the mobile presence of Diablo Immortal is going to be good for the franchise. It'll bring more people into the Diablo community in general and introduce them. Like I can't tell you how many people I've talked to recently, since Diablo Immortal came out, like this last like 6 months or so. Where they're like, they tried out the Diablo 3 season last season because they played Diablo Immortal, and they were like, oh, I heard about this Diablo 3 new season.
It's actually true. I've talked to a lot of people that Diablo Immortal was their first Diablo game, and I know I've seen a ton of comments of people basically saying, like, I wouldn't be playing Diablo if it wasn't on mobile. Like I only play it because it's a mobile game. There's a pretty big mobile community.
And so I'm excited for Diablo Immortal bringing new people into the Diablo community. And I'm excited for the Diablo 4 beta, whenever that launches here in the next month, 2, somewhere around there. I'm excited to cover that extensively here on the channel and really dive into dissecting Diablo 4 and diving into a brand new Diablo game with all my friends and all of you here on the channel to cover it as best I can. So the future is bright. It's not the end of anything. It's not the end of this channel. It's not the end of my Diablo journey. It is simply a change in direction, a fork in the road, moving on to new horizons. So for those of you that were subscribed to this channel, I really appreciate your support throughout my time playing Diablo Immortal, and I hope that you will stick around and hang out for the future of the Diablo content that will be coming here, whether it's Diablo 3 or Diablo 4 or Diablo news. I'd love to have you, and I will do my best to cover all of that for you. So as always, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Okay, so link will be below if you want to watch it, support him, subscribe to him, etc. So Brad is moving on, basically, it looks like, to go play Diablo 4. No surprise there. I think there's going to be a lot of other YouTubers that are going to be going over to Diablo 4 when it launches. As is tradition, I'm still going to be here making videos every day on Diablo Immortal. It seems like going to be one of the last people left. Veld's still out here, Echo Gaming's still out here, and I see that JT's All Business has been making videos as well lately. So there's still a few YouTubers out here making videos, but salute to Brad. One more is down, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting skinny on how many YouTubers are left.